Hasn't started.
What was that sound?
Started.
Good afternoon, Mustangs. My name's Mr. Bracy, and today we're going to be talking to you guys about what Health 1 and 2 are going to look like in distance learning. But I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lockwood.
Hey guys, I'm Ms. Lockwood Rindfusz. I teach Health 2 and PE. I'm just going to go over a few slides with, like he said, what Health 1 and 2 are going to look like. If you can just see the screenshots or the slideshow right now, we'll just kind of go down and give you all the info. Today's agenda, you just met Mr. Bracy. We're going to go over digital norms, synchronous versus asynchronous learning, morning versus afternoon schedule, getting ready for virtual school, grading, and then we'll have a short questions answer sessions at the end of the video. Digital norms. So when you sign on to your Google Classrooms or basically any meeting you're going to have this semester, just make sure your microphone is muted unless you're speaking. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of background sound, and it'll get really confusing and loud. So just make sure you're muted unless you are speaking. You can use the chat function to ask questions about the presentation content. That'll pop up on the right side of your screen. Everyone will be able to see that. So if you have to ask a question, everyone can see it. So if you have a question you just want to ask the speaker, you can probably email them. And so it'll go straight to their email. Please consider leaving your video on to facilitate community connection. When you're in class, you can have, it's nice to be able to see someone face to face. So when your teacher's going over everything, it's kind of nice when they can see your face, but we can go over that more later on when you're in your individual classes. Make sure you keep your actions and words appropriate and respectful. Like I said, everyone can see you and hear you on the video in Google Classrooms. So just be careful what you're saying when you're speaking out loud to the class. How can families prepare? Make sure you can sign into your North Clackamas email address and access everything in your account before the first day of school, just to make sure you're ready to go. Make sure your parents have your parent view access. Grades will be tracked in Synergy, but they'll also be synced to Google Classroom. Make sure wherever you're doing your classrooms from are very comfortable for you. Make sure you have a designated learning space with a notebook and at least a pencil. And I suggest also just, a bottle of water or something to drink because it's going to be a couple hours behind the computer. And then just make sure you're familiar with Google Classroom. Each of your teachers will share the classroom code, so you'll have that before the first day of school. What is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous learning time? So synchronous learning time is live. This is when teachers will be right in front of the computer during your 2 hours per day that you're in front of the screen. They'll go through an intro. We'll go through this a later slide, but this is when you're going to have teacher instruction and they're going to assign you work to do in your asynchronous time. All of the synchronous lessons will be recorded and uploaded to your Google Classroom. So if you miss a class, you'll be able to go back there, watch the lesson, and do the work that was assigned. Like I said, asynchronous learning is a time that you can complete whatever you didn't complete in class or what your teacher has assigned for you.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here and talk about what a typical day in health class looks like. We both run Health 1 and Health 2 very similar on a daily basis. There's not a lot of difference in how we run the class, like structurally. So typically we start with a quick write. That usually lasts 5 to 7 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. It'll be in Google Classroom, so they'll be able to just access it from their computer and kind of fill it out there, and they'll just submit that. There will be direct instruction in a typical day during the sync time, the synchronous. We'll be doing direct instruction, and we'll also include like breakout rooms where they'll break out into groups and they'll work on things together and discuss certain topics. And then we'll come back together as a whole group and kind of discuss what everybody talked about. They'll do some peer collaboration, like one-on-one stuff, partner work. But that'll all be done in the synchronous where it's live. So we may do some direct, like 30 minutes direct instruction, and then have the students break out and do other things. And we may also just assign the work in that time too, so they can get started early, and then whatever they don't finish, they can finish in the asynchronous portion. So like it says there, it says assignment. We'll typically assign those probably at the end of the synchronous period, and then they can work on it during the asynchronous. Here's just a breakdown of the schedule. I'm sure you guys have already seen this maybe in previous sessions that you visited. We just thought it'd be important to maybe flash it up here again. just so you kind of get the idea of when students are in the synchronous session, which is on Mondays, period 1 and 3, and then Tuesdays are 2 and 4, and then again on Thursday and Friday it's the same schedule. So just getting really familiar with that and knowing what they're supposed to do. This is a breakdown of the afternoon, and this is, I think, where people have a lot of questions. They're like, okay, we understand the live video portion, but what's happening in the afternoons? The afternoons are set up so students can work on anything that they've gotten in previous classes that they need to get done, or maybe they're doing some pre-reading for the next class that they're meeting. But this is their time to do independent work. So that's what the asynchronous is for. Grades are pretty simple. Grades are going to be in Google Classroom. They'll also be on Synergy. So any assignment that they do in Google Classroom, we'll assign a point value for it, and then we'll send it back to the student so they'll be able to look at it, and we'll provide feedback that way. And then the grades will be uploaded into Synergy, and you can check those regularly. We update those pretty much every week. So they're going to stay pretty on track there. So if you need to get a hold of us, our contact information is just our email right here listed for you on this. So best way to get a hold of us is email. We will respond. We're checking our email throughout the day. We'll respond same day to an email. And then our office hours are listed as well. Monday through Friday, we are in the office after synchronous teaching from 9:30 to 10, so students can pop in and talk to us one-on-one. Those one-on-one sessions will also be recorded and saved. So if there's any questions of, maybe you didn't understand what we said, or there was some misinterpretation, we can go back and we can look at that. So those will be recorded, and those office hours are available. So if you have questions and you just need extra help, feel free to just pop in and talk to us or send us an email.
All right, that's it. So just email us if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.